Sorry we didn't capture her. Okay, so here we are. As I mentioned before, every episode divisible by 25, evenly divisible by 25, is a question and answers. This is the 75th episode. Oh. Okay, so here we are at the East Wind Buffet, and I guess worth noting is that every time we have one of these, we lose exactly 2 viewers. Okay, I thought I'd talk about the origins. Rhino Ramps International was originally intended as a physical location. I was in massive tube hoops, and I noticed that a lot of people were getting really ripped off by, in the congregation, were getting really ripped off by garages and whatnot, so I wanted to help them out that way. And now that we're in Minnesota, it's, to a lesser extent, that's still happening, so that's still part of the motivation. But anyway, someone asked me for the name, and it just blurted out. Boom, spontaneous creation. And it was asked by a left-handed upside-down guitar player, Jimmy Burbine. Because Jimmy Turbine, but with a B. He's been active since the 50s. Okay, so I thought I'd talk about the core vehicles, core ideas of Rhino Ramps International. I got some negative feedback about keeping cars long after I should, but you can imagine that I could easily do this. But I'm going to quote Derek Bieri. He says, when they're gone, they're gone. He says, you have to maintain these cars, these classic cars, these strange cars, these off the strange ones, off the mainstream cars, because when they're gone, they're gone. And a big part of why this channel exists is the restoration of the core vehicles. Speaking of Vice Grip Garage, I thought we'd mention that both Jason and I got the same exposure. We discovered this episode where he was in this dry wash and there was like a hurricane or something coming. He was getting this white Cadillac. Betty White, wasn't it?
Yep.
And so we both got the same introduction. Now I was in New Hampshire at the time and moved to Minnesota. Derek since moved from Minnesota to Tennessee, and Jason's still here. Well, his house is very nice, but more specifically, he says the garage.
Yeah. I think that was a 70 Cadillac.
Yeah,
if I remember right. Right in there.
Yeah, it was right around 1970. Now I'm going to have to check. Okay, yes, we'll get this out of the way. The most frequently asked question on the channel. Do you believe in the supernatural? Every time I drop my trousers. Okay, the most requested episode, and for some time, it's in process. It was actually going to be this past year. We didn't get done in time. The most requested episode is a performance of John Steyer's The Christian Comic, if you can believe that. I already have permission from the Pastor Nate locally, to do the performance, and I have to reproduce the uniform because the original was lost in a fire. And so I plan on going around to used clothing stores. And of note, this is how Triumph came about. They found him in Chinatown. Okay, let's talk about stuff we've been able to do and stuff we've not been able to do. I was finally able to film taking off an oil filter with that nifty oil filter tool that I have. It only took 2.5 years. I still need to find a way to film with both hands free. I still haven't gotten that. That's kind of in the works. At Best Buy, I think they have a rig that can set me up. And we need to get my drone. And if you're wondering why we need a drone for a car channel, well, I'll leave you to wonder.
Yeah, you definitely need a drone.
Yes.
And the oil filter wrench, the 3-pronger that you put your socket wrench on, the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
You need one.
I remember I couldn't get the filter off Della, the Impreza, and I was swearing at it. My landlord and landlady came out, and then this guy took me, the one who called me this morning, in fact, and took me out, and we got this thing. I'm like, oh, this will never work. Just boom, boom, boom. Amazing. Oh, yeah. We still haven't finished the credits, but we do have a driver for Herr Cougar for that scene. Okay. Someone, at one of my last road trips, someone took exception to some of my derogatory comments about Harrisburg. And wow, whoever found it, necessary or even possible to defend Harrisburg, wow. I had to pull that comment. I don't often do that. I'm a big champion of free speech, but I had to pull that comment. But yeah, I have some media. We can insert something here in the editing. Okay, stuff that were planned. We have planned multiple tornado vids, multiple tornado chasing vids, and scenarios to play out. I think they're going to be a blast to make, and I'm sure you guys are going to love those ones.
But which car are you taking then, those?
Well, I don't want to take Herr Cougar, even though he's really solid and heavy, because he's got 47-year-old original glass and original paint, and so I'm thinking about taking Bratwurst.
So take the lightest vehicle that you have that's high off the ground is the best plan.
Yeah. Maybe we can add a sail to get a little extra boost in speed.
That's living dangerously.
Yeah, Bratwurst is probably the worst vehicle to go tornado chasing with. Literally, it's a roller skate on wheels. Major events that have transpired since the last one. Yeah, Bratwurst blew a head gasket, so he's got major problems now. And I was able to get all this stuff off of the property. That was such a relief to get all my stuff off of that property. You can probably hear that. You watch the episode, you can probably hear that in my voice, the relief of getting everything out of this terrible situation finally resolved.
Which episode number is that?
Was it 72?
Because you get to see the 57 Chevy, you get to see a lot of other cars that you didn't see before.
Oh yeah, that one shows. Well, it doesn't show Bratwurst, and doesn't show Herr Cougar, and doesn't show the Corolla, but you get to see all the other ones. Yeah, in one episode.
On the bike.
On the bike too. Yeah, the RE5. So yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So people asked, how do I come up with topics for the episode? Well, honestly, most of the time they just fall into my lap. I'm doing something, I'm like, wow, this would make a good episode. Sometimes I plan, sometimes literally for years. There are times stuff just breaks. What you call it? Video content makes itself.
Yeah, the car decides you need some more content. I'm going to fail to run today.
Yeah. Later today I plan on putting a thermostat in Herr Cougar. Yeah. Oh yeah, and a lot of you asked, am I married? No, I'm not. And then some of you ask again, why not? I guess my generic answer is, I try not to whinge on about the tough life I've had, but I've suffered enough for a lifetime. Okay, tragedies. This probably isn't in the scope of the car channel, but I'm going to put these in anyway. I recently lost my father. Don't smoke. I lost my younger brother, and we lost David Lynch. And oh my goodness, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, David Lynch was the most important and relevant living director, and now he's gone. Bratwurst, after driving across sitting in the weeds for 5.5 years, after a short burst of reactivity after sitting in the weeds for 3.5 years, drove across the entire continent halfway back, and then quit on the way to church here in town. And then just after sitting, I got the carburetor ready, and it blew the head gasket. So yeah, that was a heavy blow too.
Another amazing road trip video. The video with Bratwurst's trip.
I'm amazed that one's not more popular. Yes, there's one. Maybe it's 52, something like that. And I fly up to Alaska, and I get this car running, and I drive it back to Minnesota.
Without heat, right?
Well, the thermostat didn't work, so there wasn't much heat. So going through the capital of the Yukon tour, Whitehorse. Oh, it was dicey. I mean, it was hypothermia level dicey. And yeah, the heat didn't work. Well, not much anyway. Wow. On a lighter and arguably safer, a lot of you told me you liked the musical numbers. It does seem, I was going to say this is unique for a car channel, but I guess it isn't, because a lot of them will play music while they're doing a time lapse of their travel and whatnot. So maybe it's not unique, but it is unusual. And the next one planned is Take the Long Way Home. I already got a harmonica player lined up.
It's not me, is it?
No. No, I asked Josh, and he says, "You want to be in one of my videos?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!"
He can play.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Somehow I missed it. We had a musical number planned for a tribute to my dad, leader of the band by Dan Fogelberg. Here's a weird piece of trivia. Might be getting off the track. Did you know that his father came in second to Johnny Weissmuller in a swimming event at the Olympics? If he would have won, he might have been Tarzan. This is Dan Fogelberg's father. This is for real, guys. And you wouldn't get that trivia anywhere else but this channel. But anyway, I was planning a later of the band musical tribute to my father. And between the planning of it and me getting it done, he passed away. Okay, where are we going? Oh boy, I'm going to actually show this card. So, Herr Kruger, as much as I complain about him, perhaps even swear, he's been a real trooper. I wasn't sure we were going to make it out here. He sat in a driveway for 3.5 years without any test at all. We drove him to Minnesota, and we wasn't sure he was going to make it through one winter, and we've asked him to get through, I think, now 4 now. So he's been a real trooper. Rear springs going through the entire fuel system. I think the tank vent's bad. And then we're going to start cosmetic. Bratwurst, oh boy. Bratwurst, I need to rebuild the motor. Going to rebuild the carburetor and wheel bearings. And then we think she's going to be roadworthy, but we're not sure. The Corolla we have to get down from Alaska and do a fuel mechanical restoration. My Cordoba is probably going to be next. That's really why the channel exists. So, I got something planned. I'm not going to give it away now, but I got something planned. I think you guys are really going to love it. This is going to be a unique formula for car restoration. Nothing ever has existed before it like it. You'll love it too. The 57 Chevy pretty much just needs cosmetic work. It's just there, the engine just burbles. You know, those big old V8s, just the burble. Mm-hmm. Everything perfect. The Opals need complete restoration. Della the Impreza got some really bad transmission chatter and some presence of exhaust gases in the coolant. The only thing that can finish Subi. So that one, I'm just going to send to Andertrek Automotive, and they're going to rebuild both, Lord willing. I could do all of that. That's barely within our limits, but I want my girl to have the best, and my rebuild of her engine will not be the best. The RE5 just need to clean the fuel system and get some cosmetic work, like on the rear springs and things like that. But that one is ready to go. I spent a whole summer restoring that one, and it's been garage kept. Where are we going? Continued. We have something really special planned for the 100th episode. Yeah, you heard that right, the 100th episode. We're still here, and we need to get a shop, and there's been some recent progress on that. I haven't told you about that yet, but okay. Final notes here, I guess. Please use the comments and not email. It makes extra work, and comments help the channel. Mundane stuff, check out his channel too. It's a lot like mine, but what did I say last time? Not as polished as Rhino Ramps International? And then you cracked up because we're not very polished.
It'd probably be more mundane based on what he named himself.
Yeah. Anyway, he mentioned in a long comment on my channel that his email was for erotic pictures of his feet. So, yeah. Okay, and comments. Yeah, we can always say no, so suggest anything. Press anything. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, what should be added?
Yes, what should be added? Yeah, what are we missing? What would you like to see? A couple of you have said you want to see more revivals. Revivals are really expensive, but things are improving, so there may be more revivals. Okay. So, wow, summary we got here. The channel is still growing. We're still here. It's growing proportionally to its size, so it's a geometric increase. And the moment that I knew that Rhino Ramps International was for real, I mean, the time when I really knew was I watched one of Vice Grip Garage 1.5 hour videos, and then I watched one of my 1.5 hour videos, and I think I liked mine just as much or more. And I'm like, this is real. That's when I came home, this is real. And okay, that's the whole set. We didn't tell the joke.
You had a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
This was to be the opening joke, and we forgot it till the end. What's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Well, outlaws are wanted. Okay, keep your tree in ditches, everyone. Guess that's gonna be it.
Oh, then you can't see if it's good. Is that fine?
Well, we'll find out. Imagine we film the whole thing.
Yeah, right. Do you want to do a test run? Because I don't know if I trust that.
Okay.
Do you still want to do another test, though?
We're testing right now.
Because actually, it's probably not very wide.
Yep.